and I was doing job.
So you own like 20, 25 companies now?
So I only manage the problems. I have couple in manufacturing. We gave another LOI, that's and reached to a value 1.8 million. I have no clue as to from where I'll get the money or for what and all that. I have no clue, let me tell you. When I closed, I had minus 3,500. Sales is the skill which you really need. जब ना आप पैशन से ना आप एक चीज तो कर सकते हैं क्योंकि वो आपका पैशन था. पैशन से आप मल्टीपल नहीं कर सकते. I can multiply the money faster than what I can multiply in real estate.
If you were giving advice to, let's say me, who wants to buy, whatever business, there is. So what would you give me? All right, Anurag ji, thank you so much for giving time.
Thank you.
And just, a little bit about your background. Matlab, you came a long time ago. So let's go back a little. How does all this happen?
So it started all with filing for a PR.
Okay.
तो एक थे यहाँ पर उन्होंने motivate किया and that's how I started working on the thing and we did it. 30th of April, 30th of March को मैं यहाँ land किया था. और 4th से जॉब कर रहा था 2011 में.
2011, okay.
So this is how I landed here. और फर्स्ट जो घर जहाँ पे मैं मूव किया था स्क्वायर वन में के पास में एक कॉन्डो था वहाँ से.
Okay.
एंड आई वाज डूइंग जॉब.
कौन सी जॉब कर रहे थे?
तो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में था. एक कंपनी थी जो कि ट्रक के सस्पेंशंस बनाते थे. ट्रक एंड ट्रेलर के सस्पेंशंस बनाते थे. वहाँ से स्टार्ट किया था. एंड देन तो एक चीज़ वहाँ पर एक चीज़ बहुत अच्छी मुझे लर्निंग मिली है अबाउट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इन कनाडा. That was very good learning for me. That yes, manufacturing can be done other than Asia as well. So that was my learning.
And what's your background before coming to Canada? What were you doing?
बहुत funny है. तो I started with the private sector. मैंने काम किया. हाँ. फिर then I moved to government services. हाँ. मैं foreign services में था. मेरी posting थी Caribbean में, Trinidad and Tobago में, Port of Spain में मेरी posting थी. और मेरा जो work place था वो Grenada एक छोटी सी island है वहाँ पे था. I was there for 7 years. I was advisor to the Prime Minister for Economic Development by the Government of India. Posted there. So it was also a very high profile, good job. बहुत ही well था. हाँ. और पता नहीं क्या सोच के let's move to Canada वाला था. But no, that's how we thought that it was very challenging because after every 3 years you need to go back either to India or to go to new country. So that's one of the reason why we thought of settling down, and Canada by chance came as one of the option where I came here through BMO's one of the program where we were training the CEOs and CIOs for all the developing nations, and that's how we came here for I think a week or two, and we loved the place. And lot of Indians. And we came in the month of October. तो fall था, colorful trees थे, mesmerizing था.
वो आपको पता नहीं था कि 3 हफ्ते में खत्म हो जाएगा.
सब खत्म होना है और उसके बाद की जो टाइम आने वाली है till April वो तो all together different होने वाला था. So थोड़ा और रुक जाना था to see the real picture. But anyways, so that's how it all happened, and then we moved here. I think 2009-10 में आया था first time when we saw Canada. We went to so many places, saw Niagara Falls and Old City and all. So it was really beautiful. That was one of the reasons. We have been to most of the countries in the world as a mission because I worked with United Nations also, UNICEF on Cartagena Protocol. So I have seen a lot of countries developed nations before I came to Canada. So I knew the cultural differences and challenges which we are going to get in terms of when we move from one. So that was my background. But before this, I have never done any business.
Acha.
Okay, it was Canada where I started my business.
So 2011 you came, right? So you own 20, 25 companies now, right? So if I were to ask you, how would you define your role in like one sentence or couple of sentences. Like what do you do?
So I only manage the problems. That's all I do
Okay.
every day in and day out. Those which cannot be managed by anybody.
Okay.
So that is what I have learned, and I think after all these years, I think that the main thing which I learned is that everything has a solution, and it will take time, and sometime it will be faster, sometime it will take their own sweet time to get it solved. So that is what I do.
And what kind of businesses do you run?
So mostly, I have couple in manufacturing. So manufacturing is because I understand how the manufacturing works. So that was my thing. Then I have service sector. I have college. And I have North American Business College, a private career college with a DLI for international students. And then I have food processing equipment manufacturing. Olympic Tool and Die was my first company which I acquired, and that was my base to start in Canada as an entrepreneur.
उसकी बात करते हैं. So I saw Ravish's blog as well. So like that was a very challenging time. So walk me through, like अगर कोई नया आ रहा है, जैसे आप भी नए आए थे, कोई business background नहीं था, like how do you one day wake up and say मैं like dyeing का business start करूं, like dyes बनाऊंगा, like how did that happen? Walk me through that.
So क्या हुआ कि पहले तो काम कर रहे थे, तो रियलाइज कि ऐसे तो नहीं रह पाएंगे. इट इज़ टू कॉम्प्लिकेटेड टू मैच द एक्सपेंसेस एंड योर लाइफस्टाइल एंड सो यू नीड टू डू सम चेंजेस इनटू इट. एंड बहुत अनसर्टेनिटी है जॉब्स में यहाँ पर, सभी को है, कोई भी कहीं पे भी हो. सुबह सुबह भी बोल सकते हैं थैंक यू वेरी मच. तो दैट वाज समथिंग विच आई थॉट दैट नाउ इज़ द टाइम और इट विल नेवर कम. So I started looking for companies. Or we came in the middle age. We are not from this country where we have friends from the school and we have that kind of mindset where we are so innovative that we can come with a solution which is very big a problem. We know the problem because we are not from the country. Every country has their own problems, and you need to understand the solutions will be different for different countries.
Right.
So if you have to have a startup, you need to have that kind of mindset, in my opinion. Say, for example, India. They have their own kind of challenges where food app has gone so beyond, but they can do this because the shipping cost is maybe rupees, 2 rupees, 5 rupees, 10
Makes
rupees,
sense.
which doesn't add so much value to the product. Here, it doesn't work that way. The cost of shipping or moving goods from one place to another is very high. And that one of the reason why when you add up everything, it becomes very costly. For smaller, for example, I have a business which is not doing that great startup, spices. Spices. We make spices here in Canada. Internationally procured spice. We pack it with our own brands, Enter Spices. But why we can't ship it? Because the shipping cost is $10.
Oh.
And the product cost is $2, $3, $4, $5.
So it has to be in bulk.
So now, if I can't tell the customer to buy 10 of them, it doesn't make sense because it will be for 10 years. I don't know. I mean, how much spices you can put and make it a viable business. So those kind of challenges, I just want to put forward. So we wanted to enter in the food industry because COVID gave us 2 opportunities, healthcare and food.
Right.
We tried both. One didn't work. One is okay.
Okay.
So this is how it will be. Business, you can never be certain of that it will give you. But if you make sure that you have done enough research, you make sure that you have now reached to a point that you can jump from 9 to 5 to an uncertain field, you take a call. And you have to take a call because if that is what you want to do, don't do too much of research and get into the mindset of negativity because that definitely will come to anybody who all are there.
जो गूगल पे सर्च करोगे, अगर बोलोगे कि will Olympic dye or dyeing business work, वो बोलेंगे these are the reasons why it
won't work. Yeah, and sometimes they are right, sometimes not, right?
Yeah,
and every situation is different, So that's one thing. If you really want to do, please do it. And the day when you will take this call, whole world will be against you to make sure that it never happens. and you have to make sure that you are looking to the other side, and you are taking that call to start
And having the confidence
and
in
having the
yourself, right? So,
confidence. Yeah.
so let's go back to in the first business that you started. So, like, what happened there?
So I started researching about the companies which are in the market for sale or for acquisition. So I tried one company which was and I didn't had that much, but I did a LOI for $2.1 million as an offer, and somebody took for 2.3. It has an inventory of roughly 2.4. Inventory was there. So the day when we would have bought, probably our 90% loan would have been paid. That kind of,
Okay.
And then I also gave an LOI for another company, couple of them. I saw maybe 10, 15, 20. And then I reached to Olympic Tool and Die.
Okay.
And I started. So when there was a broker who was actually selling it, he said, "How much money you have?" I said, "Okay, 150,000." And I wrote, I have an email. And then he replied, "You can't buy a company."
Okay.
So then I was very offended that what is going on here. 150 is not so small. I mean, it's for myself. I mean, it wasn't that easy. Then after 1 or 2 days, I wrote to him, "Okay, you don't worry about money, that I'll arrange, but let me see the company first." Then her secretary said, "Okay, we will try to fix sometime next week." And then we got that. Then we gave the first LOI. It was rejected. Then we gave another LOI. That's and reached to a value 1.8 million close to, including the working capital and everything. So. And I don't have that kind of money at that point, how to.
And you already knew that you can take loans and everything. That research you had done.
No, I didn't know at all.
Oh wow!
I have no clue as to from where I'll get the money or for what and all that. I have no clue. Let me tell you. And I'm not exaggerating. Once that was fixed, then I started looking for from where I can get my fundings. So I had a house in Delhi. I sold that, got 100, close to 100. Then I had my house, on which I was living. I took out 80,000 as my because I paid roughly 30% because first time buyer,
right.
So big down payment was there. So I took out that money. And then I had a couple jewelries. I put it on that, got 50,000. One guy, when I was moving in Square One TD, I met by chance a manager, and he said, "We just opened a new branch. Why don't you come?" I said, "I need some loan." And this is the country where you can get it secured $80,000. Okay.
Oh wow! Okay.
That adds up to my down payment, and then. There was a lady in BDC. BDC is a good organization to work with.
They help a lot of entrepreneurs.
They go beyond these commercial banks and they can take a bigger risk because Crown Corporation. So Amali was there, and she came and she saw them first time, and I got through one of my friend who referred, and she said, "Okay, let me see what I can do. You present your thing, give how you're going to run this business, and what will be the changes which you can bring." So that's how I reached to getting the loan. Last day when I closed, I had minus 3,500 in my account. No idea as to how the gas I will fill in my car. And, that's how so everything was on stake on that day. I came at 6 o'clock, opened the door because I got the key from the lawyer's office.
Right.
Nobody was there. And I was just moving here and there, thinking about what am I supposed to do now.
And abhi employees ko pata tha ki, there's a new owner.
So always make sure don't disclose, don't become a boss on the day of closing.
Makes
ever.
sense.
The reason being is these people are your asset. Okay, don't confuse them, don't scare them. Don't make them feel as if something disaster will happen because they are not used to.
Correct.
Okay. So give a soft landing. Make sure that you are the smallest person in this company because this is the time when you are going to learn. if you become a boss on the day of your joining. So I had shown in my company that I am a vice president of the company, and the president is the president, the guy who was running it for the last 40 years. And I was every day with him. He used to come for a couple of hours because he has already sold. So when he is there, I'm always with him just learning, because I knew nothing about dice ever. I haven't seen the die. First time was the die when I saw in that company. So I didn't really know anything. I'm an engineer, but you don't do these things, right? So that was the time, and I started learning. So 2 years I just learned integrity of everything, what it is, how the metal is, why this metal, why not that metal, how it performs, and making sure that by my hand I can assemble some of the dies.
Nice.
I can ship. I was shipping the dies on Saturdays, and doing all those things which I have never done in my life. So that was another kind of learning. And this is passion. When we were talking about passion, this is where, when you come to this point that yes, I need to understand and learn, this is where it all starts. That I need to make sure that this is a success story to tell in the later part.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So when you were researching about the company, right? So are you well versed with finance?
I had one friend of mine who was helping me in the financial. So I also do the due diligence of the company in terms of financials. I understand the balance sheet. I understand how the things. This is also I learned through friends and through online, and how to see what needs to be seen. And that guy was a VP of a company. He was very versed with finances. So he and myself, we will sit down, and he will say that this number is not right. There has to be some problem. Okay, if down the line, if you see 3 years or 4 years balance sheet, on one fine day you see a lot of changes in one of the values of, that means that the machine maybe is breaking down very frequently, because that's how the value has gone up. So those kind of things. So that means that you may, the day when you enter in the company, you may have to change a couple of machines, which you have never thought of. And because of that, you cannot make product. So those kind of research need to be done properly when you are looking at the financials of the company.
Makes sense. And did you ever manage a big team?
Yes, no. Not
in your business, obviously, because it was your first business.
This was the first time. Yes, I managed for that company where I was working, but it was just one of the managers of, that kind of. So not like really I was managing big team, never.
So what was your biggest challenge in your first company?
So one thing I have learned is that you need to understand the people's mindset. They need to be treated as a child. And that's what is the best part. You need to listen to them. For them, it is a very big thing. For you, it is nothing. But still, you need to make sure that, oh my God, really, it is a very big thing, so that they can appreciate that you heard. Like every day, I get into somebody from Spanish background doesn't have good English, and somebody who is Canadian has a different way of telling that, and there will always be a conflict. And every day he will say, "Give my papers, I am leaving, I am going," and then he will say, "Okay, don't worry, let's get to the next level. What happened? Okay," and then I'll go and tell in a good way to the other guy, "What are you doing? Why you are doing this?" Oh, he doesn't understand what I'm saying. I mean, that kind of challenges. But they all really want to do good for the company. It's all that they can't express themselves sometime the way they want to express it, and that takes a different level, right? So that human management in the company is very critical. One resource goes, you can't replace it so often, and it will be a big challenge for getting a replacement in this company, because he has a big experience with him, which he is leaving right now. So definitely it is a big challenge.
So now you have had now many years of experience of, acquiring companies, looking at businesses and saying that, okay, this is a business to buy. So if you were giving advice to, let's say me, who wants to buy, whatever business, there is. So what would you give me, like a layman advice on what do you do first and then because you have made mistakes as well, right? So there are certain things that you would probably not do that you did in the first
I will
business.
tell about myself, okay? And you take your own judgment of how you're going to do. I will not buy a company which is 24/7, like food outlet. Okay, I will not buy a company where I have to have 100% satisfaction, because every customer should be happy when he leaves. Very complicated. Okay, that is not me.
Okay.
You know, if you are buying a restaurant, you must have an experience how to make food. Okay, this doesn't work anywhere else, because either he will play with you, the chef, or you will be played by the customer. Okay, because that is most important. You must understand this. Okay, if you are going into that field, you make sure that you really understand that making food by your own hand. If in the morning 9 o'clock the chef says he doesn't want to come today because he doesn't want to, you need to understand that you can go to the kitchen and start making by yourself. That is one thing.
Makes sense. Okay.
The other thing is that service sector, very complicated. Because you don't have anything to back your assets. When you have paid $1 million in service, for example, IT, you have computers, 5 people working. Asset is maybe 10,000 or 20,000 if give and take. Rest all are all goodwills and the software. So that is also very critical. It's good idea to have a concept and convert it into, and then sell it to a bigger organization like Google, and rather than buying,
Makes sense.
that way. The one thing is, don't focus on finances first.
Oh, okay.
The reason being is finances will be arranged. Okay.
I mean raising money. Okay.
Raising
money.
Finances.
Okay. Makes
You
sense.
must. It's not that I'm saying zero. You may have whatever you have, but if you will focus on finance in the beginning, you will never close it. You will be so scared that it will never happen. Where is the money? I mean, for example, 1.5 million. Do you have it? No. So don't focus on finances first.
Okay.
Focus on the company. Okay. The other thing is, if you are buying a company, you are not Rambo. You are not one-man army, and you cannot turn around a loss-making company to a profit-making company. Please, don't do it. Yes, it can be declining in the profit, but not negative. You can't. It is very complicated
Makes
to
sense.
turn around the company from loss-making to a profit-making.
So look at balance sheets, look at
balance sheet,
P&Ls.
make sure that you understand the balance sheet.
Correct.
Losses, net loss is different than the loss, okay?
Yeah.
That means that you have a 2 million sale, but net loss is $20,000. That is fine, okay? But if you have $100,000 of revenue, and in which you make a loss of 10,000, no, then there is some problem.
Makes sense.
So it is all relative as to
Right.
how you are looking into the total finances. That 2 million sale can fix this 20,000.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but 100,000 cannot fix a 10,000. So this is the way.
There's
of,
an income problem there.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
That means it is very difficult to scale it.
Correct.
Yeah, and then the guy who have started working and had worked for 18 years in the company can't make profit, and you from outside can make $1 million. Very, very.
Yeah, now I understand when you said, don't be a Rambo.
Yeah,
you
that's
can't
right.
be like, okay.
So
buy a profitable business, at least,
make sure
good
that
revenue.
you have a vision. The company has a vision, and at least the company has done 20 years is what is my give and take. Don't go with a company which only is into existence for 10 years, 5 years. Why I said 20 years is because the company has seen 2 recessions before you buy. So this has some kind of cushion in the company. That's the reason why it's sustained. So that's one more thing which we need to look into.
Okay. Do you also look at people who is working, how long?
That is also there. There is one guy in our company, 3 generations they're working with the company. So yeah, so that will come with the company. Okay. And you need to understand one more thing. How much is the owner involved in the company? Is it everything is on to owner? Then be ready to sleeve up and start working from day first to learn. And there has to be some kind of basic understanding of the business as well. So that way, it really gives you.
Makes sense. So, and then let's talk about finances. Let's say $1.5 million.
Yeah.
You know, you need to buy a business. You negotiated. You said, okay, the business is good. Now, in today's time, how do I raise 1.5? Let's say I have 10% of that, 150. Let's say $200,000.
Okay, so
Like, how much do I need?
So at least you will need is 35%.
Okay.
Minimum as a down. Okay. How you're going to raise is this much, like you have, you said 200,000. Rest all you need to find creative ways of getting the funding. Okay. And if you have a good case and if you can present your case in a good way, BDC can go maybe 25% down as well.
Nice.
You know, so that way you can close the deal. And there are other funding ways like government granted loans and some way. Then you will have to sit with somebody who can bring all into one and make it happen. Okay, because now you have done the major work of getting through with the LOA and getting the deal closed. And the other thing is also the finances of the company will be so much that it can sustain that kind of loan. So say for example in this $1 million loan is there and $500,000 we have raised.
Okay.
Example. So 1 million loan for business loans are 6 years, maximum 8 years. So roughly at today's market, 1 million will cost 6,000 a month or 8,000 a month.
Okay.
So which means that you will have to have in the balance sheet at least $100,000 to pay off that loan.
Correct.
That will give a boost to getting the loan approved.
Oh, okay.
It's all about how the company is doing. It is not about what kind of money you have closed down, closing cost, but it is all about how the finances.
And what is a skill that you think is absolutely necessary if you're doing something?
Sales.
Okay.
Sales is the skill which you really need to cultivate, to make sure. Rest all you can either learn or acquire. Sales is something which you need to. Without sales, zero.
नहीं, makes sense. And अनुराग जी, मेरे को ना एक और चीज़ समझ नहीं आती कई बार, एंड मैं भी बहुत स्ट्रगल करता हूँ उससे, पैशन के साथ जाएं कि हमारी स्ट्रॉन्ग सूट है, जैसे मेरी रिसर्च है स्ट्रेंथ, राइट? सो मैं स्ट्रॉन्ग सूट के साथ जाऊँ, पैशन के साथ जाऊँ. कई लोग होते हैं जो बहुत बोरिंग बिजनेसेस में, जैसे स्ट्रेचर्स बना रहे हो, आई एम श्योर यू डोंट हैव पैशन फॉर स्ट्रेचर्स, राइट?
Absolutely.
बट सो हाउ डू यू सी पैशन, स्ट्रेंथ व्हेन यू आर लुकिंग एट अ बिजनेस?
जब ना आप पैशन से ना आप एक चीज़ तो कर सकते हैं क्योंकि वो आपका पैशन था. पैशन से आप मल्टीपल नहीं कर सकते. पैशन कैन नॉट बी सो ब्रॉड.
करेक्ट.
समझे? पैशन कैन बी मनी, है ना? कमाना ही है, जैसे भी कमाना है ना. सो दैट इज अ डिफरेंट लुक एंड यू नो.
करेक्ट.
अगर मैं बोलूँ ना कि अभी इतने दिनों में मुझे क्या पैशन डेवलप हुआ है, तो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग.
अच्छा.
is what fascinates me. मैं बहुत I get very excited when I see something made. Feel, छू सकता हूँ. And एक confidence आता है, yes, we build it. Kind of. छोटे सा छोटा भी, जैसे मैंने अभी आपको एक बेंच दिखाया ना, मुझे लग रहा है ये ही बना लिया अपने आप ही. मतलब there was no drawing, nothing, and we built it something and probably if it looks good and if we price it good, we probably can make a product out of it, right? Where patient can sit, for example, right? In a this thing. So that also you know, that everything adds up to at the end, right? तो that motivates you.
बट ये आपको पहले से था नहीं ना?
नहीं, पहले से नहीं था ये ना, ये जब आप इन्वॉल्व होते हैं ना तो ये कल्टीवेट होता है. व्हेन यू स्टार्ट यू मेक पॉडकास्ट, यू विल, व्हेन यू स्टार्टेड यू वुडंट हैव थॉट ऑफ कि ये भी कर सकते हैं.
Correct.
नाउ एवरी टाइम यू गो एंड यू हैव अ न्यू थिंग टू गिव इट टू, राइट, एंड दैट गिव्स everyone something new, right, every day. So that's how it is all. When you start getting involved, it gives you a lot of other avenues, areas to see.
What if you don't like it then after doing it?
देखिए, there is always a risk, always a risk. And क्या है कि ना कभी कभी मूवीज, एक घटिया सा मूवी बहुत सुपर हिट हो जाती है,
Right.
और एक जबरदस्त मूवी बनाया है उसने और वो सब बोल रहे हैं कि इट इज वन ऑफ द बेस्ट, फिर भी नहीं चली कमर्शियल वैल्यूज में. तो इट इज ऑल, देयर इज अ रिस्क, a bit of luck, risk, everything is there in the game, and it will, sometime it will work out, sometime it won't. तो वो तो चैलेंज हर समय रहेगा.
बट आपको लगता है कि पैशन कई बार ब्लाइंड साइड भी कर देता है लोगों को?
बिल्कुल, एब्सोल्युटली करेगा, क्योंकि यू आर सो पैशनेट ऑन द प्रोडक्ट और ऑन योर कॉन्सेप्ट दैट यू आर नॉट लुकिंग आउटसाइड दैट इट कैन फेल, एंड समबडी इज टेलिंग यू दैट इट विल नेवर वर्क, एंड लेटर ऑन यू रियलाइज व्हेन यू हैव डन एवरीथिंग दैट देखो उसने बोला था नहीं चलेगा, मैंने वो देखा ही नहीं, बिकॉज यू आर सो इनटू दिस थिंग. So that's the reason.
Talk me through your biggest failure across, जो भी अभी तक करें.
सर्विस स्टेशन. तो मैंने एक
gas station?
गैस स्टेशन
Okay.
नहीं, I mean fixing cars,
Oh, is it? Okay.
That was one of my biggest failure. 100% customer satisfaction, cost of place, and that was another. Then
Like how, if you don't mind me asking, how much money did you lose in that?
maybe 100,000, 200,000.
Okay.
But not very big as a. But the major loss was not money, but time.
Makes sense.
Evenings, Saturdays, fixing tires, putting puncture, putting it back to the, those kind of things, putting it from your hand, making sure that he is satisfied, and those kind of things, and then not making money.
Okay.
And putting up a year of time just onto this. So that was one thing. Then startups,
Achha.
IT hasn't done well right now. We tried with because maybe because we haven't thought onto that side, so that was not there. Then I'll say that as of today, the company which is for spices is not doing so well. A lot of money has been invested. A bigger failure was that I put a lot of money on what do you call the blockchain, and I started mining Bitcoin and this, which failed.
Like yourself, or you had a company?
Sales. So, I mean, we made a company called Bitcan Technologies.
Okay.
For mining Ethereum and Bitcoin. We mined Bitcoin roughly two Bitcoins.
Okay.
And we had the best of the best machines which we bought. But all of a sudden it crashed. And it has no value, so that's.
And what would you say is your biggest lesson? I understand that जो आपका cars वाला था उसमें 24/7
Yes.
customer service. What was?
So sometimes when you see the market and you get motivated with the kind of market sentiment, and you start putting up all your. That is another way of.
I think foundations को छोड़कर.
बिल्कुल.
You just look at what's working. And then,
and making in a short span of time making a lot of money. You get motivated sometimes, right, with money, and you think that it will make a lot of money, and everybody is jumping into it. You will be left behind. First time it came to you for $1,000 Bitcoin, now it is $60,000. Those kind of thing really gets into, and so it all. And we didn't want it to buy and sell. We wanted to mine. Always I am always I'm thinking of how to manufacture.
You are a manufacturer.
Yeah, so that's why I'm on that side, that let's do this. Let's make it by ourselves, to understand how it works, why it works, and what is going on. And the machines were making so much of noise when we installed it. 50 of the servers which is running
Wow.
24/7 and heat
Heat
generated,
joyegi, हाँ.
and then that's what. And then I used to have a company called EV Fern, which is into solar panel and
Okay.
battery and all that. We wanted to make this Bitcoin technologies into solar powered and those kind of in downline once we have that kind of. So there are a lot of failures which will happen in.
पर अगर करोगे नहीं तो फिर पता
Yeah.
कैसे चलेगा,
हाँ,
right?
और नहीं करेंगे तो फिर हर बार ऐसा रहेगा कि you had this opportunity, you had the fun, but you didn't do it.
आपको रिग्रेट्स होते हैं मतलब?
हाँ, तो हर बार लगता है कि why we invested that much, 100,
Okay.
200 probably we would have invested in another place and we would have done but much better. But that time, this is what came in the petty, and you took a call. And sometimes it works, sometimes
लाइक
it
इतना
doesn't.
रिस्क लेने की जो कैपेसिटी है ये हमेशा से थी या डेवलप हुई ओवर टाइम या पेरेंट्स से आई, लाइक हाउ डू यू गेट दैट?
My dad also used to have multiple schools which he used to run.
okay.
It was an NGO. It is not a business, but definitely there are customers, there are students, there are parents. You have to deal with. You have to make sure. So definitely that was also there. Plus, one thing money wasn't the motivating.
Okay.
Yeah, I always what motivates me is to make something new. To make something much better than what it is, or to bring to something which satisfies the society. It's what gives a lot of motivation, and that I think gives me taking risk capability. जो भी बहुत बड़ा हुआ है ना, उनके रिस्क टेकिंग कैपेबिलिटी बहुत बड़ा हुआ है. एलन मस्क है ना, क्या रिस्क लेता है.
मार्स पे जाना
अपना तो छोड़ दो, the way he takes it, that is I have nothing to do with, but as a business and as a ट्यूटर खरीद लिया. अरे कहाँ से क्या कर सकते हो और क्या रिस्क ले सकते हो, कितना हाउ चेंज लोगो चेंज कर देना. थिंक अबाउट इट. इट्स समथिंग यू आर लुकिंग एट फॉर द लास्ट 10-15 years, जो कि तुमने पैसे देके खरीदा है इन बिलियंस एंड देन यू चेंज. तो अपने ही खोल लेते.
80% लोगों को निकाल दिया,
है ना. आई मीन थिंक अबाउट इट काइंड ऑफ. एंड अभी सब बोल रहे हैं बाकी तो ठीक है, तुमने सब ठीक चला लिया है. हाँ, तुमसे ट्विटर नहीं चल रहा है. दैट्स व्हाट द आई एम श्योर दैट he will come back and he will have this thing. So the idea is that these things doesn't come one day. It takes very lot of courage to build and take that kind of.
Do you read? Read a lot, like
very much. I mean, I read a lot. That's very important for everybody. Every morning you must read for an hour.
Achha. What's your morning routine like?
Generally I wake up around 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Okay.
जब बिजनेस करते हैं ना, तो एक चीज का मेजर इशू है स्लीप.
नींद
वो तो चली
खुली
जाती है. वो तो चली जाती है. वो कुछ भी कर लो.
मैं सिमरन को उस दिन यही बोल रहा था. सो मैं एक दिन 2 बजे सोया और मेरी 4:30 बजे नींद खुली. बोलती तू इतनी जल्दी उठ कैसे जाता है? मतलब दिमाग में आइडिया आया क्या करेंगे, आ गया तो 4:30 बजे. तो
जैसे कल मैं 2 बज गया था, 1-1:30 2 बज गया था सोने में, और मैं 4 बजे उठ गया था. हाँ, और वो चिल्लाने के सो जाओ अभी. मैंने बोला अभी मॉर्निंग में ये भी है. अभी तुमको बताना है 4 बजे सुबह में कि मॉर्निंग में. So that's how
चलो. So morning routine. So you wake up at 6.
I make my own tea.
अच्छा.
And then I do cleaning. मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है हाउस क्लीन करना. सुबह उठ के सब प्रेस कर देना, झाड़ू लगा देना.
सॉरी, उस टाइम पे सोचते हो कुछ?
हाँ, तो ये एक 2 चीज करता है. ये एक ना, व्हेन यू क्लीन योर हाउस और क्लीन समथिंग, ये सेंस ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस देता है इन द मॉर्निंग कि तुमने अचीव किया कुछ. हाँ, जब तुम पूरा क्लीन करके फिर से देखोगे ना उसको, लगेगा वाह ये एक चीज तुमने किया. सो एंड दैट गिव्स एवरीबॉडी इन द हाउस काइंड ऑफ अच्छा everything हो चुका है, सब कुछ ठीक हो गया है. एंड दैट इज वन थिंग. द अदर इज दैट making my own tea.
Okay.
And then sitting and reading till I have my tea, maybe 15 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour.
What kind of books are you reading?
So anything which motivates, which has something positive to tell in the morning, to start your positive day. You know, every day कुछ ना कुछ तो ये जरूर, either a quote, either a reel from Insta, या either writing kind of write-ups or whatever, you know. That gives like एक है inc.com, उसमें आता रहता है what 5 things a successful people can start with, yeah, what Warren Buffett has in his mind, you know, those kind of thing, which gives you something to think about it, you know.
Okay.
So that way, and it actually starts in a positive note in the morning, and then you
get ready and get to work.
and get ready and get to work. 7:30, 8 I am in the office.
Oh, okay.
You know, every day.
Okay.
Every day. First I go to Olympic, and then I come here, you know, in time. And then from here it goes back to Olympic, finish the day, and then if I have to do college, I will go from there to college.
Like, do you work 24/7?
Try as much as I can.
Okay.
You know, this healthcare is taking a lot of time, because after 6 is what California wakes up and starts calling and trying to get something. So all the phones are marked to my cell phone, so I'll attend and you know, make sure till that. And why I haven't had anybody right now is because I am myself is learning this business. So once I'll have all those kind of controls, I will understand, and then
you'll have
then
someone.
probably I'll have somebody who I will then guide him when he will get that kind of challenge, because challenge comes every day. You cannot teach anybody in a day, and that's
Anurag ji, मेरे को ना एक क्वेश्चन है, one of the last questions that I'll ask you. So एंड ये ना एक बहुत बड़ी मिसकंसेप्शन होती है लोगों में, बोल लो या कुछ होता है, जैसे मैं रियल एस्टेट में, राइट. सो बहुत सारे लोग मेरे पास आते हैं, बोलते हैं मेरे पास $100,000 हैं, मेरे को ना घर खरीदना है, राइट. तो मैं देखता हूँ, कई लोगों को मैं जानता भी हूँ, राइट. तो मैं बोलता हूँ यार तुम्हें पैशन है, तुम्हें अगर कुछ यू नो स्ट्रेंथ है तुम्हारी, तुम बिजनेस स्टार्ट करो, राइट. सो इफ यू वर लुकिंग एट समवन हु हैड $100,000 एंड दे कुड पुट इट towards real estate, which is very common, सबको खरीदना है, सबको घर खरीदना है. मेरे को लगता है कि नहीं, अपने अंदर डालोगे ना अगर थोड़े से पैसे, तो you will make many times over that $100,000. So what's your view on when people, you see immigrants, you see that, you know, they are buying houses versus they could actually do something else with that?
Yeah. So मेरा क्या thought process था, मेरे पास नहीं है इतना real estate.
अच्छा.
Just ऐसा भी नहीं, जीरो है. हाँ, मैं अपना घर है जिसमें मैं रहता हूँ, वो है, प्लस एक और इन्वेस्टमेंट है. हाँ, दैट इज व्हाट इट इज. रेस्ट ऑल एक कमर्शियल है और एक ये है. वो भी डाउन द लाइन हुआ है. ऐसा नहीं था कि वो मैं स्टार्ट किया था और मेरे पास था. मेरा तो जो घर था उसमें से भी पैसे निकाल लिए थे, ठीक है ना. तो मेरे पास तो नहीं था. क्यों मैंने ऐसा किया, तो आई कैन मल्टीप्लाई द मनी फास्टर देन व्हाट आई कैन मल्टीप्लाई इन रियल एस्टेट. अच्छा, रियल एस्टेट का क्या है, मुझे क्या लगता है, हाँ, बेसिकली नॉट रेसिडेंशियल रियल एस्टेट का मैं बताता हूँ. तो अगर आपने एक घर लिया है जिसका आपने डाउन पेमेंट 20% किया है, और वो आपका इनकम है ना, उसके साथ ऑलरेडी अटैच हो गया है,
करेक्ट
है ना. तो जिस दिन ये मार्केट में परेशानी आएगी ना, आपको जो इश्यूज आने वाले हैं वो मेजर डिजास्टर की तरफ है. हाँ,
जो अभी आ रहे हैं.
घर जो आपने लिया है ना, वो 25 साल का लोन है ना, या 30 साल का लोन है. तो आप थिंक करो कि 30 साल में वो पैसे बनेंगे, नॉट टुडे जो आपके पास है. आज तो बनने नहीं ना, 30 साल में
जब तक बेचोगे नहीं अपना घर,
और
तब तक कहाँ से पैसे,
और जब तक बनेंगे पैसे ना, जब तक आपको ज़रूरत नहीं होंगे पैसे की, है ना. तो जब पैसे की ज़रूरत है आज, वो देखो ना. हाँ, वो एक चीज़ है. और मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि वो गलत है और वो खराब है. बहुत लोगों ने पैसे बनाए वहाँ से,
बिल्कुल.
हाँ, ऐसा नहीं है नहीं बनाए. हाँ, मैंने नहीं किया क्योंकि वो मुझे नहीं लगा कि that is something which I can make in the real estate. Yes, I can build my portfolio, I can see मेरे पास 5 घर है, बोलने में तो अच्छा लगता है. हाँ, बट वो 5 घर पैसे दे रहा है ना. रेंट से आप उसका मॉर्गेज तो पे कर पा रहे हो, तो वो तो मॉर्गेज है एट द एंड ऑफ द डे, है ना. वो अगर आपने 100,000 के से एक बिजनेस 1 मिलियन का खरीदा होता है, जो कि 100,000 एट द ईयर में दे रहा होता ना, उससे आपका ग्रोथ बहुत होता है, प्लस आपकी सैलरी भी आ रही होती. तो दैट वे यू वुड हैव ग्रोन ईजियर,
स्केलेबिलिटी इज मच बिगर,
एंड देन यू कैन हैव द नेक्स्ट which will give you know sense of fulfillment is what I real estate. तो एक
पर ऐसे क्यों लोग नहीं सोचते?
मुझे लगता है कि कौन रियल स्टेट का एक और इन्वेस्टमेंट करता है जो कि जॉब में सेटिस्फाइड है और जिसको कि बस एक और इनकम के लिए ला के रख देना है. हाँ, एंड दैट इज़ व्हाट इट इज़. बिकॉज यहाँ पर बैंक्स इतने रिटर्न नहीं देते जैसे इंडिया में फिक्स डिपॉजिट्स एंड ऑल दैट विच इज़ नॉट एनी अदर दिस थिंग वेर इन. और क्या कहते हैं, ये जो है शेयर्स है वो बहुत वोलेटाइल है, दैट कैन गो एनीवेयर. So that is maybe the reason why the most investment goes towards.
और मेरे को ना हमेशा लगता है कि if you invest in yourself, you build a business and then you have cash flow from that, and वो wealth कहीं पे preserve करनी है ना, पैसे आ रहे हैं हर महीने, right? So that you can probably use to preserve, into real estate,
absolutely,
which is relatively safer, right? But I think वो एक वन ट्रैक माइंड पे जाना. मैं 20 years के लोग मेरे को कॉल करते हैं, वो बोलते हैं मेरे को ना नवजोत भाई घर खरीदना, आपने ये खरीदा वो खरीदा, मेरे को भी खरीदना है. बट मैं बोलता हूँ यार अभी 20 years के हो, कितना टाइम है आपके पास, जस्ट इन्वेस्ट दैट 10,000 20,000 जो भी है इनटू योरसेल्फ, योर एजुकेशन, समझो क्या करना है, एंड देन मेक मोर मनी.
और एक्चुअली यहाँ पर ना एक और चीज़ है, इतना ज़्यादा रियल एस्टेट एजेंट्स है ना, मतलब से everybody has one or the other in the thing, और सब वही बोल रहे हैं कि उसी में लग, क्योंकि उनका तो वो बिजनेस है ना,
right.
तो वो सब वही सबको दे रहे हैं कि अगर तुम्हें बनाना है तो रियल एस्टेट में ही बनेगा.
एक्चुअली मैं भी मॉर्गेज एजेंट हूँ,
बिल्कुल,
ठीक है. सो हैं बहुत सारे, राइट. बट मैं लोगों को ना, और मतलब बहुत सारे मेरे सब्सक्राइबर्स हैं जो ये चीज़ को अटेस्ट करेंगे, मैं आधे से ज़्यादा लोगों को मना कर देता हूँ कि मत खरीदो, राइट, नहीं है तुम्हारे लिए, बिकॉज यू स्टिल नीड टू मेक मोर मनी, एंड $10,000 है, आप $10,000 कौन सी रियल एस्टेट में डालोगे, अपने अंदर डाल लो ना, कोई कोर्स मिल जाएगा अच्छा, वो खरीदोगे. तो आई एग्री कम्प्लीटली कि कितने सारे रियल एस्टेट एजेंट, उनका एक वेस्टेड इंटरेस्ट होता है कि
क्योंकि उनको तो मिलेगा पैसा वहीं से,
एग्जैक्टली,
कमीशन ही नहीं मिलेगा वो क्या कर लेंगे.
तो मैं वही लोगों को बोलता हूँ कि वो तो कमीशन लेके निकल जाएंगे,
बिल्कुल,
आपके पास एक हाथी छोड़ देंगे,
बिल्कुल. हाँ, जिसको आपको पालना ही पालना है, चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए, आप कहीं नहीं जाएंगे. अभी मुझे नहीं लगता है कि जिनके पास 5 घर होगा ना, और जिनके की फिक्स्ड में नहीं होंगे, जिनके तो फिक्स हैं वो ओके हैं, जिनके फिक्स नहीं है ना, उनको पता होगा कि कैसे हर मंथ वो मॉर्गेज दे रहे हैं. और प्लस अभी हुआ है कि कोई बता रहा था कि 3,200 में उसने घर रेंट पे लिया था, नेक्स्ट मंथ से उसके ओनर ने बोल दिया 4,000 कर रहे हैं, रहना है तो रहो. और वो भी क्या करे बेचारा, मॉर्गेज नहीं, कहाँ से, चल ही नहीं रहा होगा उसका घर.
सही बात है.
एंड हाउ they are increasing the rate, there is a tribunal where you can only increase 10%. वो भी another issue है with residential. You cannot let the,
यहाँ तो 2.5% है,
2.5%. बताओ, उससे ज़्यादा बढ़ा नहीं सकते, है ना.
सेम मेरे साथ हुआ ना, मेरा एक कॉन्डो है, वो इकलौती मॉर्गेज जो मेरी वेरिएबल पे है, और $800 नेगेटिव हुआ उसके अंदर, और रेंट मैंने बढ़ाया है कितना, $60, राइट. उतना ही बढ़ा पाया मैं रेंट, राइट. सो निकाल सकते नहीं तुम, तो वो तो अच्छा बिजनेस है, वहाँ से यू कैन मेक. बट हाँ,
क्योंकि वो पैसा हम कहीं और लगा सकते थे ना, $800 घूमने के लिए, समर आया है ना, 1,600 में हम कहीं जा सकते थे, राइट. तो वो है चैलेंजेस. और एक बार जब आप इसमें चले गए ना, इट इज़ वेरी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड टू कम आउट. अभी बेचेंगे तो बिकेगा नहीं, उतना रेवेन्यू नहीं मिलेगा जितना आपने लगाया था, लॉस में ना बेचना पड़े, है ना. दोज आर द चैलेंजेस. तो आदमी उसको फिर कैसे भी करके उसको इधर उधर करके चला रहा है. हाँ, जिनके क्लोजिंग नहीं हुए, जो कंस्ट्रक्शन वाले थे, बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है कि वो क्लोज होंगे, क्योंकि आप ऑलरेडी एग्जॉस्टेड हैं अपने मॉर्गेज जितना आप ले सकते थे, अब कहाँ से एडिशनल मॉर्गेज डाल पाएंगे. सो दोज आर ऑलरेडी अ चैलेंज विच नीड टू बी.
So business is
business is definitely a good option.
But it can be learned, right?
Yeah, it can be learned.
You did not, come from that background.
Anything can be learned. You need to have that mindset of learning. Yeah, anything can be learned. So if you don't want to, there is always no. There will always be challenges that you can say that, oh, मेरे पास time नहीं था, मेरे पास तो time ही नहीं है.
What do you say to that? Like जब लोग बोलते हैं कि टाइम नहीं था, टाइम तो किसी का आपके पास नहीं होगा,
किसी के पास नहीं होता है. ये तो आपको अपने टाइम मैनेज करना है, राइट. आज
How bad do you want it, right? ये भी होता है.
आज अगर मुझे इंटरव्यू देना है सैटरडे को, तो मुझे देना है, टाइम निकालना ही है, चाहे जैसे भी हो, राइट. That's how you need to manage your own time to make sure that it makes something.
Amazing. 2-4 क्वेश्चन, फाइनल 2-4 क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं, ठीक है. What's the best advice that you got ever?
कि don't buy this business. and I went through and it was okay.
Okay. फिर ये अगला क्वेश्चन ना बिल्कुल ही खराब हो जाएगा. What's the worst advice that you got?
तो वर्स्ट एडवाइस ये होगा कि पहले लर्न करो. हाँ, खूब इतना रिसर्च करके देखो कि तुमको ये सेटिस्फैक्शन हो जाए कि कुछ भी नहीं जा रहा है. ऑल सिनेरियोज सोच लो. अरे कहाँ से सिनेरियोज आएगा? रियल
जब
लाइफ
आए नहीं तो.
में जब आएगा.
Makes sense.
That's one thing.
Makes sense.
That, yeah.
Analysis paralysis बोलते हैं.
Analysis paralysis,
वो
absolutely.
करना.
Yeah.
अच्छा. अगर एक दिन के लिए you were make वो नायक देखी थी ना मूवी, you were made the president of the world.
Yeah.
एक रूल या एक बिल पास करना है, क्या करोगे?
Stop war.
Stop war. Okay.
वो अगर एक ही है तो I just want this war to go. It is too much. My humanity killing and everything. Everything is impacted through that.
सब कुछ आप देख लो, महंगाई बढ़ेगी.
बिल्कुल, सब
एक वहाँ पे वॉर हुई, जल्दी महंगाई बढ़ेगी, राइट?
That's one thing I'll just say. There won't be any war.
अगर एक दिन के लिए या लेट्स से एक विश है आपके पास एंड यू वर टू टेक आउट समवन ऑन लंच डिनर डेड और अलाइव, मतलब कोई भी अगर एक विश है तो किसको लेके जाओगे और क्यों?
Dad ko.
Oh, okay.
He is not here
Oh.
anymore.
So sorry.
I just want to take him.
What would you say to him? He'll be very proud,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I just want to show him what I did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
When-
beautiful.
When he said,
Is that your big
Yeah.
why that
Yeah.
you do what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. तो क्या होता था जब मैं गवर्नमेंट में भी था ना, तो जब मेरे डैड थे तो he was very proud to tell. अरे वो उसका फोन आएगा अभी थोड़ी देर में. और वो तो I mean the kind of proud what he feels, no? And the kind of advice whenever I need he used to give me. I don't think so I have anybody to get
Amazing.
it. This is
अनुराग जी, दिस वाज अमेजिंग. कितने सारे लोगों को कितना एडवाइस मिली. एक दिमाग थोड़ा सा खुलता है, राइट? कई लोग सोचते नहीं है उतना. तो आई एम प्रीटी श्योर अगर इस पॉडकास्ट को देख के एक बंदे ने भी बिजनेस स्टार्ट कर लिया और आपको आके बोले या मेरे को आके बोलेंगे, कितना अच्छा लगेगा, राइट? आई एम प्रीटी श्योर दैट विल बी अमेजिंग. सो थैंक यू सो मच फॉर डूइंग दिस ऑन अ सैटरडे.
Thank you so much for coming and thank you for bringing me on your show. Thanks.
Amazing.
Again. And wonderful listeners. Thank you.
Thank you.